Hey, it's Nikki Jensen.
And Brie Pagoni.
And we're Late to the Party, a weekly podcast about film, fashion, and pop culture from two best friends, mentally in Stars Hollow.
Yeah. Busking on the streets.
Yes, like the troubadour.
Yeah, the one and only.
Yes.
There can only be one town troubadour.
I feel like you'd be the troubadour and I'd be the la la lady.
Yeah.
Sam Phillips, just in the clouds.
I could see that. Yeah, totally. That's us.
Yes. Well, today we are talking about Gilmore Girls.
Yes.
Because the air is a little more crisp. Mm-hmm. The leaves are changing colors. Pumpkin spice lattes are aplenty.
Yes.
So
it's Gilmore Girls season.
Yeah. People, there's many things that happen when fall hits. And one of the things is, you best believe we're binge watching Gilmore Girls for the umpteenth time.
Yep. Amen.
So yeah, we are like every other gal, which I feel like the Gilmore Girls would totally either be fully about the fall season, gonna watch our comfort show, or totally I'm not like other girls.
I'm not like other girls. I'm not gonna get a pumpkin spice latte.
Yes. Oh yeah, Lorelai and Rory are definitely not a fan of Starbucks or PSLs.
Yeah, they're a fan of Luke's.
Yes, only Luke's.
The best coffee in town.
Black coffee.
Just plain. Yeah, nothing fancy. Only add cream if it's nasty.
Yes, because they're cool girls.
Yeah, I know. I wish I could be like them.
I know, me too. Well, I can't. We'll talk about it, but I am kind of like Rory. But
yeah, same kind of.
Unfortunately,
and a bit Lane, I guess.
Yeah, I can see you as Lane.
Yeah,
but yeah. So we are talking about Gilmore Girls, which we started watching the show for the first time. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but we started watching in 2014, 2015 when it came on Netflix.
Yeah. Was it? I thought it was a little later. I thought it was 2016 or.
I know we watched it.
Oh wait, maybe we watched it lightly. I don't think I watched it as hardcore. I feel like I've had a journey with the show. Yeah,
well, I feel because it was definitely before A Year in the Life came out.
Yeah.
But it was when it came on Netflix. So it had to have been in that 2014 to 2016 window.
I think we started the show many times. We went through a phase where we'd watch this and Golden Girls and something else.
We also binge watched Gossip Girl.
Gossip Girl. That's what it was. All the G's.
Yes.
Triple G. That's what it.
Guy Fieri, Get Out of Town. New Triple G's.
Yeah.
But I remember I was obsessed. Growing up, I didn't watch Gilmore Girls. Just it wasn't on the rotation. And I remember because we just watched the promos for the WB and then later on the CW Gilmore Girl promos. Mm-hmm. And it's wild how they painted the show.
It is very wild.
It just didn't seem like my cup of tea. It was like a Grey's Anatomy or something where I was like, okay, this is too dramatic for me as a little kid. So I'm out. But then when it came on Netflix, I was obsessed. And then you would periodically come in and out. And then I was like, we have to watch Year in the Life.
Yeah. But then I did go, I did watch all of the seasons after you introduced me to it. It got me started on watching them.
When I found out about Gilmore Girls and started watching and hearing, the way Amy Sherman Palladino writes, I was so enthralled, and I was like, this is what I've been missing my whole life. This is the closest thing to how I talk or how I want to be. I was just so obsessed with it. So it was a long lost friend. But what's your relationship with Gilmore Girls?
Yeah. So, when it came on Netflix, I remember we both kind of started watching it. But back in the day, I also didn't watch it. I remember it being more like drama. But I think I was watching other shows like Buffy or The Simpsons. I don't know what I was watching really, but I wasn't watching Gilmore Girls. And it's funny because when we looked at those promos again, it's it is so over dramatized. It's a totally different show. So I would not know how funny the show actually is. I feel it's so quick-witted and it's just so fun and comforting to watch. I don't know. It's not a big drama, but there is drama in the show.
Yeah.
It's enough drama to keep you interested, but not enough to really.
It's not soap opera style, which
it's not.
We watched all of the promos on YouTube right before we recorded, and it really was they really were into when Christopher came to town, which isn't like a huge plot point.
No, he's rarely there in the series, except for the later seasons. Like he's kind of
a little
more,
bit, but I hate Christopher.
I was gonna say, I don't know if this is a hot take, but I don't like Christopher.
I don't either. And then it really focuses on when Richard goes into the hospital those 2 times.
Yeah,
it really like plays that out in the clips. So you know,
you're right. It's almost like Grey's Anatomy or whatever. Yeah.
But I was living, like, if I watched Gilmore Girls, like, if I was my age back in, like, 2001.
Yeah.
Because they have bops. They had Everywhere by Michelle Branch as one of the songs on the promo. And 1,000 Miles, Vanessa Carlton.
Yeah.
I lived
those
for
promos might get me, those specific ones.
Yes, if
sure.
I caught those.
Just those songs.
And it was like the good old days WB when it was like the moody lighting and they were just like in like the gold light where it was like WB and you could just turn.
The WB.
Same.
Oh.
I didn't watch any other WB shows, but I remember flicking through the channels as a kid and seeing WB and being like, this is what teens watch.
I remember watching Supernatural, which had Jared Padalecki. So.
Okay, I want to hear your thoughts then. I'm like color me curious about the whole Dean situation because during this rewatch, which has to be like my 10th rewatch, I have a different perspective on Dean, and I don't want to just be a hater, but I have a different perspective on all the guys.
Oh, I can't wait to hear.
But right off the bat,
should we just talk about
who's your team?
Okay, well,
who's your team?
I'm Team Jess all the way. This is how I feel. Jess, and then second for me is maybe Logan. But I don't really like Logan either. He kind of annoys me.
Do you like Marty?
Who's Marty?
Okay, that answers your
question. No, I don't.
That's a no.
Dean is like the bottom, I guess. But he's not, I mean, he's just okay. You know what I mean? I feel like, and Logan, he's like, I can give my full thoughts when we get into it, but Jess, I feel like they had the most chemistry.
Yeah. Well, they were dating at the time, so.
Wait, that's right. I totally forgot about that. That makes sense.
Totally makes sense. I mean, their chemistry is like, that was a crazy thing on this rewatch was like, how many times have I watched the show and then every time Jess comes in, Rory has to step it up just in life, but also like her chemistry every time they're on screen together.
It's electric.
Yeah, it's just something about their chemistry. It still gets me like, woo, all right. I know these are supposed to be like teenagers, but like,
it's like, ooh.
Yeah, like it feels real. And I guess they were, together at the time. Even though Milo Ventimiglia is just like a great actor anyways. I love him.
Super cute. Like he's the cutest.
He's my short king. Like
seriously, yeah.
Yeah.
That attitude and hair really makes up for it,
Yeah. Well, I just had a conversation with someone recently about, because I'm kind of a hater as far as guys go. Like, I know short kings exist, and I know I'm only 5'1". So I'm just really a hater, but I could never date someone like a short king.
No.
But for Milo Ventimiglia, yes.
Yeah.
Like, I think
how tall is he anyways? Is he like 5'4", 5'5", 5'6"?
Because my rule has always been you have to be taller than me in my highest heels, and I wear like crazy heels. Okay, so they say he is 5'9", which means he is definitely 5'6". Yeah. So he's not like crazy short. My guess. Oh, the second thing on Google is when I type in Milo Ventimiglia height, it says, does Milo Ventimiglia have a child? And then the second one is, are Alexis Bledel and Milo Ventimiglia still together?
Are they? I really don't think they are.
They like broke up in like 2006 or something.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. I love that thought that someone's just like watching Gilmore Girls and is like, huh,
are they still together? Do they have a baby?
Yeah.
Oh, do they write a book together? Do they become journalists?
I love it. I love the idea that like every fall or just every time I'm like low, I want to binge something. It's not really only fall for me, but I love for other. I just love how this is like a collective thing. I love how Gilmore Girls has become a cult classic. And
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like the marketing at the time did it dirty.
It's definitely not, it doesn't paint a true depiction of the show. Like it's, I don't know, it's almost like Hallmark vibes, and it doesn't show any of the humor that the characters have, like hardly at all.
This show is so witty and special, and
yeah,
I don't know. Why do you think this show resonates like today with so many people?
I don't know. I think it's just so well written, and I think the characters are also very well written and cared for. Like they are fully fleshed out. Everything, for the most part, with the exception of maybe the season 7, makes sense. Like like there's a lot of character development. Like you're kind of invested in the characters. The pilot for onesies is like one of the best pilots ever.
I agree.
Like this show, I feel like for me rivals The Nanny.
Yeah,
may even be better in a way.
Oh,
like,
it's a better show than
you
The
know,
Nanny.
it's
as much as I love me some Fran.
Yeah, same. But it's just so, it's like, it's a good balance of like drama and comedy. And then there's like the whole, like, I guess the generational aspect of it, you know, the Gilmore Girls.
Yes.
Of it all. Like Rory and her mom and her grandma, like that whole dynamic. Like it gets into like family dynamics. I don't know. I just think it's an interesting show, and it's really well written, and it's like you kind of want to talk like these characters too. Like all the pop culture references are really cool, and you can understand them.
Yes, for the most part. Even the ones you can't understand, I like, since watching the show a plethora of times, there's been times in my life where I'll remember a piece of dialogue, but then I'll tuck it in like my back pocket, and then just in life, I'll stumble upon the reference and just be like, oh my God, that's the Gilmore Girls reference.
Yeah.
But
same.
I mean, I feel like always the discourse with like an Amy Sherman Palladino joint, like it happened with Bunheads that came on, and everyone was like, oh my God, have you seen the show? Like this is low-key amazing. And then it went off the air, and then Miss Maisel came on the air, and then like the resurgence of Gilmore Girls. So I feel like, you know, every 4 years, like the Palladinos get their flowers in one way or another.
Yeah, for sure.
But speaking of everything, so Gilmore Girls, the initial pitch to the WB was just sold off of the line, it's a mother and daughter, and they're more like friends than mother and daughter. And they all perked up and literally said, great, we'll buy that. And Amy Sherman Palladino walked out, turned to her manager at the time, and said, that's all I got. I don't know what the show is.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
So, bada boom, bada bing.
So she just started there and went with it?
Yeah, which just is a testament to like her genius.
Yeah.
I guess.
She's definitely a genius.
Yeah. No, I love the idea of like the cross-generational, like it appeals to the audience. Like everyone can watch the show, and like it's just the witty dialogue and the storylines. It's just perfect. It's chef's kiss.
Yeah. And the characters, I feel like there's so many like funny and odd characters, like Kirk, for instance, or Taylor. Like there's a colorful cast of characters, we could say. Definitely.
And I think with the storylines, like you're either going to be really into Lorelai's or Rory's or both, or really like, you know, the characters in Stars Hollow. There's like a little something for everyone, and it's all like,
yeah, maybe you resonate with Luke.
Yeah.
Maybe you're a grumpy person and you hate people.
Maybe you turned your dad's hardware shop into a diner, and
yeah, you like to wear your hat backwards
and really judge people on their choice of food that you serve.
Yeah.
Which, can we talk about the pilot first? Which I like love the introduction to these characters for one. But speaking of Luke,
yeah,
I love how he's like coffee. Like he's so against coffee, but like his literal logo of Luke's Diner is a coffee cup.
Yeah,
like that's kind of his bread and butter. Like it's a crazy thing that he was like, I'm gonna take my dad's hardware shop and I'm gonna make it a diner where
he has
coffee.
Yeah, coffee is definitely a feature. There's like the coffee bins there and everything. Yeah. I guess it's just the amount of coffee though that Lorelai and Rory consume, and we get that from the get-go. Like in the first scene when she just walks over to Luke's, I love that There She Goes is playing.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
this and The Parent Trap really make that song for me.
Right? I love a good intro too, where it's just like a song that just gently like eases you into a show, and then it fades out and she's there and she's I don't know, on her 10th cup of coffee or something.
Yes. And I mean, I don't know what genre of music or like little niche Spotify playlist The Laws, There She Goes. It's probably Gilmore Girls fall now, but like whatever that type of music is very Gilmore Girls.
It really is.
Which, you know, it wasn't supposed to be There She Goes. It was supposed to be Every Day is a Winding Road.
I know. I saw that like you know how there was like a different pilot?
Yeah.
It wasn't going to be Jared Padalecki as Dean. It was going to be some other guy.
Yeah. And Alex Bornstein from Marvelous Miss Maisel as Sookie.
So weird. The parallel universe.
Very weird. I don't like it. I like my characters. This is my comfort show.
Same. I do think like the song may have worked. Like I think Every Day's a Winding Road kind of works, but I think There She Goes is better.
Yeah.
It just feels right.
Also, like October 2000 is when the pilot dropped. October 5th, 2000. So this is post Erin Brockovich, I believe. Because that came out in March. And to me, Every Day is a Winding Road is like, I'm a 5-year-old in the back seat of my car, for one, but for two, it's the Erin Brockovich song.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So it holds two memories for me: The Laws, Gilmore Girls, and The Parent Trap. I think for me, just being selfish, I'm like, The Laws are perfect.
No, they are.
Yeah,
definitely.
Also, like later on, the pilot's a little different because they also have, it's my favorite reference in the whole entire show.
The Macy Gray CD?
Yes. But I love There She Goes because it like sets up Lorelai being the main character.
It does. Yeah.
In a perfect way.
There she goes. About town.
Yeah.
You know?
This is Lorelai Gilmore's world. We just live in it.
Exactly.
And that's how they operate. And I love that.
Same.
It's like a borderline narcissistic human being I really love. As a dark-haired, winter complexion human being who really just has a lot of pop culture references and thinks the world revolves around them.
You do look like you could just fit into the Gilmore clan.
La la. I just need to pop in my blue contacts.
Oh yeah, that's right. They all have the blue eye. Well,
Yeah.
not Emily.
Not
though.
Emily though.
Yeah.
I'm like Lorelai when she's a younger person. Where they cast a girl with brown eyes.
I never noticed. Huh.
Yeah. Still works though. That girl that plays young Lorelai.
Oh no, she's really good.
Oh my god. Them and like, what was it, Euphoria who cast what? I don't remember what we were talking about. We've talked about this before.
Yeah, like the good casting
Yes.
in like TV or movies, like when they really get it right. Yeah.
They get it.
Yeah.
This is so weird talking about this on a podcast, Brie.
Why?
Because we've talked about this so much in our real life. I'm like, where
do we start? Where do we go?
Where do we go? I feel like I've been talking about Gilmore Girls my whole entire life.
Yeah. And you will be forever.
Yeah. This is not
Doesn't
a Gilmore
stop
Girls
here.
podcast. Which can we also, season 7 is a weird season for me.
Same.
I don't feel like it's real.
It feels like a weird dream. Like it really does. And it lacks something. Like some of the dialogue, I mean, you can definitely tell that they try and it's pretty close, but there's something missing. And there's something missing with the transitions from scene to scene. Some of them just fade to black and they end awkwardly. Like Lorelai will say something and then Sookie's like, oh, okay. And then it just like says the next scene. You're like, huh, okay, that's odd. And there's no la la la's. Like I think they do sneak some in there, but it's not like the vibe is just it's like missing. It's like,
yeah. And it's shot even different.
Yeah, it's shot different. I don't know. It's a little jarring.
Yeah. I'm just not a fan. And I feel like a year in the life, we will definitely talk about that because it like informs the whole story. But we're doing general Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
If you want to get into the play-by-plays, Gilmore Guys is a great complimentary podcast. And Gilmore to Say.
Oh, Gilmore to Say. I like the sound of that.
Excellent. This is not that podcast. This is our one topic this week. We're gonna try
unless y'all request more.
No, right? Do we have Gilmore to Say? We definitely do, but
always.
But this ain't a Gilmore Girls podcast. But
yeah,
I just want to say that because I've been binging Gilmore to Say, and they get so nitty gritty, and I'm like, I don't remember all of the episode titles.
Oh, no, I don't remember that either. There's so many. Well, because each season has at least 20-something episodes. So it's a pretty, like, well, like, they give us a lot. The show gives what it needs to give.
Oh, yes. Well, the motto is, or was, life short, talk fast.
Yeah. And they fit a lot of dialogue in that short, like, 45 minutes. Weren't the scripts, like, super thick, too?
Yes. And they were expected to. Like, even I read Scott Patterson and Lauren Graham both quit smoking because they needed all the wind and all the lung capacity to just spew out this,
Wow, that's
dialogue.
awesome.
Whether it's true or not, which I kind of believe because,
No, you can't be like, and then be like talking that fast.
Yeah. So,
you'd be out of breath.
For sure. And especially like Lauren Graham had so much dialogue. I cannot imagine, but they gotta get really good at memorizing things, I suppose. Because like in TV, I don't think you get that much time to memorize your lines.
It's like a week or a few days.
Probably, but it's crazy. They weren't a multicam though, so that probably helped a little bit.
What do you mean?
Well, like, like a Friends or like a Big Bang Theory, they're in front of an audience.
Oh, like, okay, yeah. They're not like that kind of show. Which, thank goodness, that'd be weird if they had like a studio audience and you hear like laugh tracks behind them.
Like Sookie's like, oh no, my tomatoes. And everyone's like,
like it could maybe work, but it'd be just weird. It'd be a different show.
Yeah. Like Jess leaves Rory and everyone's like, ooh.
Yeah. Or like, oh.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Dean moves. Oh. Well, okay. Table setting and then we'll take it from there.
Sounds good.
Cool. So, Gilmore Girls. It's a TV series. Heard of it?
Yeah, it is. If you haven't, you've been living under a rock and you should go watch now.
Yeah.
Catch yourself up.
Gilmore Girls will be on Netflix until 2026, according to Google.
Oh, good. I was like worried that you're going to say like 24 or something. Like, no, don't take it away. I'm not done.
No, we're good for a couple more years.
Sweet.
But yes, it was created by Amy Sherman Palladino and stars Lauren Graham as Lorelai Gilmore, and Rory Gilmore is played by Alexis Bledel. And their mother and daughter, they're more like friends. It debuted on October 5th, 2000 on the WB and ran for 7 seasons, with the final season moving to the CW. It received critical acclaim for its witty dialogue, cross-generational appeal, an effective mix of humor and drama. And yeah, it's known for its distinctive voice, credited to the Palladinos because Amy Sherman Palladino, also known as ASP,
ASP,
and her husband Daniel, more or less wrote the majority, and it informed just the feel. As we were talking about a little bit ago, season 7's radically different, and it's because they're not involved.
They weren't involved, yeah. That's so sad. That's terrible.
Yeah. But then they come back for A Year in the Life.
And I love that. I really enjoyed A Year in the Life.
I was going to ask because it's a little polarizing.
I liked it. It wrapped up a lot of loose ends for me. And it just made sense. I would prefer that to the season 7,
Agreed.
I could just forget about season 7 and just go right into A Year in the Life. And I don't even need any more. It can end at A Year in the Life for me because I know there's like a lot of people who want another revival. And I'm like, I think it's too much. I think the more you try to bring back things and try to regurgitate that, it's just like sometimes I think you could really ruin like a good thing. Like I feel like it's been like it's already had so many seasons. I would just be so upset if something went in a direction just because they needed to create drama content. It's like, oh, what's gonna happen? What, Lorelai and Luke are gonna get divorced or something? Or what's gonna happen? Like, what could they do? We've had already so many journeys with these characters. Like, I think it ended in a nice spot. And although Rory, like, you could maybe not be completely satisfied with her ending, it's still up for interpretation, I think.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. I don't see anything really wrong with A Year in the Life. I think there's a couple things. I think A Year in the Life had to happen because, in my opinion, after season 6, after they the WB was turning into the CW. The CW had like a whole different vibe, a whole different vision for what they wanted in their lineup anyways. It was pretty obvious. Like even at the time, I remember seeing that like shake up and hearing about it and being like, okay, you know, like this is right before like the Gossip Girl and like One Tree Hill still going on. And, you know, they were going in a different direction. And Gilmore Girls doesn't really fit, and the contract with the Palladinos couldn't work. You know, it is really like the show stopped at season 6. So I feel like we really needed the 10 years later year in the life.
Yes.
I think any more than that, you know, people really, the internet has a really big hang up with Rory Gilmore, and I really don't, like even watching it this time, I think we're very, very hard on Rory. And I think it's not deserved. I don't agree with this discourse, and I think just because we don't like how Rory turned out in A Year in the Life doesn't mean we need a Year in the Life part 2.
No.
We don't need to know her baby daddy either. Spoiler alert. Like, we know it's Logan. It is implied enough.
Yeah, it is implied, like obviously. Like it all makes sense. Like her life paralleling Lorelai's and Logan kind of being like her Christopher and all that, and like it all makes sense. And I kind of like that. Like I get what Amy Sherman Palladino's trying to do. Like I get the point she's making. And I think that's fine. Like I don't know, I think it's good writing. I think it makes sense. It could be frustrating, but it's, I don't know.
I think like we really want these redemption arcs.
Yeah. I
think we see Rory Gilmore grow up a lot and like do a lot of things that we deem quote unquote bad. And then like Year in the Life, it's like you kind of hope she's in a different place.
Right.
But like, I don't know. Maybe it like hits too close to home. Like I found that refreshing, but I wonder now, like just talking about it with you, maybe people really are like, I'm gonna be 32 in a couple years. Like, if that happens to me,
maybe I need to rewatch it and see if I feel different. But I really did enjoy A Year in the Life, and I think Rory, I do feel like people are too harsh on her. Like I agree with you. Like I love her as a character. She is complex. She doesn't always make the best decisions. Like she does make these mistakes, but she's human, you know. I mean, there's some things it's like, yeah, okay, probably wouldn't have done that, but whatever. Like when she sleeps with Dean, like when, you know.
Rewatching that.
Yeah. This
time round. Can we talk about the whole Rory Dean affair?
Yeah.
Was it season 4? Girl, it's Dean's fault. Dean initiates it.
He came over there. Yeah. I mean, she didn't really stop it, but yeah.
I think it's like the fucked up thing, which is not fucked up about the writing. It's just a storyline thing. But like, it's fucked up that Dean initiates.
No one blames him if they just blame Rory because she's the other woman, but it's not.
And she's perfect.
I think it's both of their faults ultimately, because she doesn't really do anything. She's not like, oh no, Dean, we shouldn't be doing this. And he's like, I'm miserable, blah, blah, blah. You know, I think she's, you know, just being young and dumb and going with whatever she's feeling in the moment. And he's being irresponsible because he is married.
It is his fault though.
Yeah.
And I think it's like a thing watching it this time where Lorelai, because Rory, we meet her at like 15 going on 16. She's the perfect child. She's so, you know, smart, and you know, she's going to Chilton and ultimately like decides to go to Yale, but like has these dreams about Harvard and just wise beyond her years, and almost is like the mature one compared to Lorelai, who's the mom,
right,
being the immature one. But this is a time when Rory enters college where everyone, especially Lorelai, really just takes their hands off the wheel and is like, well, you're perfect. You know what to do.
She's left to her own devices.
You're mature. But it's also like a thing where they, especially Lorelai, I think, neglects. Like, she doesn't like treat her like a child and more like a friend. And this is where it's harder. I'm saying this now, but maybe it's the other way around. I don't know what one it is, but I think the gifted child syndrome, One leads to burnout, which happens with Rory when she drops out of Yale.
Right.
But 2, I think it starts with the affair with Dean because her mom is just like, I never thought you would be that girl. Mm-hmm. And basically doesn't give her any guidance, and she's naive and she's assuming that she's entitled to Dean, but no one ever tells her otherwise. So when she's confronted with these things and people turn their back on her, I can see where Rory would spiral.
Lorelai also pushed so hard for Dean for the longest time, just saying.
In a creepy way.
Yes. There's like one thing that she says that I was like, oh, you know, like the first time when Rory and Dean break up, Lorelai literally, when she runs into him in the grocery store, like at Josie's Market, she goes, just because you and Rory broke up doesn't mean we did. And I'm like, whoa, that's weird. I don't know. They just had this weird like relationship where they would talk about Rory or like without her around and stuff. And it was just always like weirded me out because she's trying to be like friends with Rory, but it's like she is a little too involved in some ways. Like I feel like in a lot of ways, Rory's actually overprotected in so many ways. And then when she goes to college, she has all this freedom and she gets out of her shell a bit. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of it is probably Logan's influence as well. Like just trying new things, like getting, you know what I mean? And then, you know, when she steals the boat with him, like well,
that's her fault.
Yeah, that is. But
I defend Logan a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it is. I just think, I don't know. Rory. Oh my God. Lorelai goes through a lot of changes, and she has so much growing up that she does. And I feel like, yeah, like to your point, like at a certain point, like I feel like Lorelai is like hands off, and it's like you figured this out, but I don't know. I feel like she's had so much of a cushion, maybe that it's,
or she's like put on a pedestal,
yeah,
to a crazy amount, and then when the waters get tough, because I think Lorelai even says to a couple people, she's like, Rory was a really easy child. Mm-hmm. She like practically raised herself, you know, like she just does things better than I, you know, she's morally better than even I am.
It must be like a lot of pressure.
Yeah. And, you know, as soon as she like makes one mistake where when you're 19, like, I don't know. Rory's not given a lot of grace, and she definitely doesn't give herself grace.
Yeah.
So
that's true. She's like, you can ground me, Mom. I'm going to ground myself, actually.
Yeah. So I don't know, but not the good seasons, I would say 1 through 5 are all good seasons.
Same. Yeah.
But, you know, in the beginning and even towards the end, I love the mother-daughter. I love the dynamic between Rory and Lorelai.
I do, yeah.
Like it's a very interesting relationship, but it's very unique. I love it.
It is. It's sweet. I mean, they are like besties, and it's really cool, like how close they are and how they get each other's references. They wear each other's clothes. I think it's kind of like an idealized, maybe mother-daughter relationship, but it's cool.
Yeah. Well, and I love that, and I think it reminds me of being a kid too, with like a single mom, and I think just eating pizza and Chinese food.
Yeah.
And watching movies.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a little relatable.
Yeah. Like the good old days with them.
Yeah.
With Rory and Lorelai before life gets complicated.
I do enjoy the show a lot, like in the earlier seasons before things get too complicated. Because then you're like, oh man. And yeah. I think also like with Rory, I feel like she is a pretty relatable character just because, you know, she really tries hard and she has ambitions. Like, I think in that way, like, she's relatable. And then when life doesn't go the way she wants, like, not knowing how to cope, I feel like I don't know, that I feel like I can relate to.
I agree too. Like, seeing her story arc really, I can really relate to. And it's like, you know, I was also, you know, not as smart as Rory, but you know, one of those kids that was like gifted and like had a lot of potential. And then like, you know, I get to my 20s, just like Rory, and it's like, you know, you get told you have a lot of potential, but then you have no guidance.
Yeah.
And like, of course you're an adult, but I feel like, you know, my 20s have been extra hard. So
I want to say too, like when you're in college, when you're a young adult and you are just in your very early 20s, you're still very impressionable, and people's like words will have an impact. Like people, especially if you look up to them, like when she gets that internship with Logan's father.
Yep, Mitchum Huntsberger. Yeah.
Like she takes his word as like God's word, basically, when he's like, you just don't have it.
Her life is over.
Yeah. But does it really have to be, you know? Because it is just one person's opinion. I don't know. I'm kind of like...
But she spends her whole entire life being told, not just by her mom, not by her grandparents, but like Stars Hollow, this whole town, how great she is, how she's going to be a star journalist. She's going to, you know, she can do anything. And then it like comes crashing down on her. And it's from a person at the very top. And it's also a person that she really wants to impress in her career, but also she's dating Logan.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. You're just, I think in that episode too, it's like before the Huntsbergers, like she thinks like the Gilmore status is going to help her.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It ends up not really. I mean, it helps get her into Yale, but it doesn't really do much else, because we learn in this world too. Because there's also the issue of like the Gilmores being like, I guess, upper class and having these connections, but they're also not the highest in this upper class realm. We learn like the Huntsbergers are like higher up there. They look down on Rory too. Like when they find out she's a Gilmore, they're like, ooh, which is like crazy. But
well, because also with as the audience, this whole time, so we start the series in the pilot where Rory wants to get into this private school, Chilton. So she can be Harvard bound, like Ivy League bound. Lorelai doesn't have enough money, so she asks her parents, who she ran away from at 16 when she had Rory, who are in high society, who are really wealthy, for money. And basically, for lack of a better word, they blackmail her into, they'll pay for Chilton if you have these Friday night dinners. And then they like grow a relationship and stuff. But what was my point?
Just like,
we're just told how much their money is important.
Yes.
And how it really will save Rory and get her going places. And then when she has this event, that's not true. Yeah. She has to do this herself.
She goes through a lot of disappointments too. Like after that too, just, I don't know. It is, I feel for her.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not that easy, even with connections, or like also even seeing like Paris not get into Harvard. It's crazy.
And then she internalizes it and thinks it's because she had sex.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a funny storyline, but also like crazy.
Yeah. Well, she's a little crazy. I like her though.
She is. Oh my gosh. Paris Geller.
Yeah.
She's queen.
I don't know. Just had to throw that out there. But
I love her.
Yeah.
I love her even in A Year in the Life when we just see her like kicking down a door.
Oh, I loved her in A Year in a Life. Yeah, she became so badass.
A hero.
I love their friendship too. Like their kind of rivalry friendship going on.
I know. Oh my God. So what do we think about that? So Rory does have two best friends besides her mom.
Yeah.
Lane Kim and then Paris Geller.
Yeah.
And I would say like Paris and Rory are like a slow burn friendship. They start out as enemies at Chilton.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Rory is always like trying to be her friend. And Paris
like, leave me alone.
Paris makes her life hell.
Yeah.
Like the episode with Max Medina where him and Lorelai are like making out in the
she starts that rumor. Yeah, she does.
And Rory gives her a lot of grace during those early years.
It's like she sees right through her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then later on, Paris comes around and like Paris like considers Rory her best friend.
That's really sweet. And then they end up being roommates. I don't know. I think their friendship, like, yeah, like their journey is really cool. And it's cool. Like they respect each other and they end up doing, like they have a lot of the same ambitions too, I think. So they just kind of align, which I think is cool.
Definitely.
Yeah.
One of my favorite episodes that I always circle back to is when they go on spring break. And it's like they're like trying to be like let loose and enjoy spring break in Florida, and then ultimately they're like, is it like a special, is it Noam Chomsky? Or is it, I don't know, one of those dudes? Mm-hmm. No, it's Bill Moore. I don't know, one of, you know, those.
I'm not a smarty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just like watch a documentary and like eat and.
Yeah, they don't do the spring break forever.
But they're like so content. They like understand each other on that level.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Yeah. I love to see it.
Same.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the casting?
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about Rory, played by Alexis Bledel.
Perfect casting, I think.
I think so too. I can't believe she didn't have any other previous acting experience before this.
Really? Not even. Oh, wasn't she in a movie? Was that after this?
That was during? All after. Well, during, yeah. Like during this, she's in Tuck Everlasting.
Oh, yeah.
Then she's in The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Oh, yeah. I thought she was also in another movie though about like a girl, like a similar girl that's like Rory or something. Do you know what I'm talking about?
She was in this movie called Postgrad.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is years after that movie came out, but Brie.
Yeah.
I popped that on not knowing the synopsis of the movie right before I went to college. It messed me up.
Did it ruin college for you?
It didn't ruin college for me, but like, if you are about to go to college, don't watch Postgrad. Like,
you watch it after.
Or yeah, don't watch it. Watch it before, after. Don't like days before you go into college.
Gotcha.
It really like doesn't touch you on a low note.
Dang.
But no, I'm a big fan of Alexis Bledel, and I guess Amy Sherman Palladino really liked that she was shy and innocent, but also she like looked well on camera because she was a model. She was a Lip Smackers model.
Oh, Lip Smackers. Nice.
Or like Bonnie Bell, you know, one of the, you know.
Yeah, the quintessential lip glosses at the time. Yeah. It's cool.
And then Lauren Graham, who carries this whole show on her back.
Literally.
Like we wouldn't love Gilmore Girls and it wouldn't be a cult classic without Lauren Graham.
Yeah. No, she is synonymous with Gilmore Girls. She is the Gilmore Girl.
She is.
She's like the main one, I would say. And then Rory. They're kind of, I guess they're both pretty equal in the show, but she is Mother.
She is Mother. I feel like as much as I love Alexis Bledel, it's about Lauren Graham. Like she really does. Just the way she's able to say this dialogue, it I don't know.
Yeah, it rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's
amazing. But apparently she was already on a show that was waiting to get picked up called MYOB, which I watched last night.
Is that Mind Your Own Business?
Yes. Have you seen?
I don't think I have. No, what is this?
So last night, about 1 a.m., I decided to...
Wait, after you texted me? That's what you were doing? You said you were going to sleep.
I was like, good night. And then I was like, mind your own business. What is this short-lived show that almost kept us from having Lauren Graham on Gilmore Girls?
Oh, man.
It is a very 2000 show. It is a very forgettable show, but it's such an interesting thing. It's like, I know at the time, it probably wasn't like written in the start, like clear as day.
Yeah.
But when you watch the pilot of Gilmore Girls and watch the pilot of Mind Your Own Business.
Is it like Lauren Graham going around telling people, mind your own business? Like,
kind of.
Really?
Like, there's this one episode I think I was watching, was it episode 4? There's not a lot. There's only like 6 episodes of the show because it was like, it also came out in like June 2000. It was one of the summer. Yeah, it was just, I don't know, who watches like TV like that in the summer anyways. So, but she plays like an aunt who, I don't know, has like a niece who like finds things. I don't know. It's a bunch of Lauren Graham like acting like she's in the Dragonfly Inn, basically in a blazer, being like, mind your own business.
Wait,
yeah.
I've got to check this out. That is crazy.
It's very inconsequential.
Sounds cheesy.
Yeah. Oh my God. And like the font in the theme song is like that curl font.
No, not the curly font.
Yeah. So I guess Amy Sherman Palladino said, Lorelai's a hard fucking part. You've got to be funny. You've got to talk really fucking fast. You've got to be able to act. You've got to be sexy, but not scary sexy. You've got to be strong, but not like, I hate men.
Wow. Yeah, I'd say that was her. Yeah.
Perfect. I'm a big Lauren Graham fan. I like her books. I like everything. So.
Yeah, same.
She is Mother.
She is.
Do we have any thoughts on Scott Patterson as Luke because it was initially supposed to be a woman.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, what is this? No, I don't understand it. Wait, Scott Patterson wasn't supposed to play Luke? It was supposed to be a woman that owns a coffee shop that's grumpy?
Or maybe not. I don't know if they maybe wanted her to be grumpy. I don't know. That really wasn't in the...
But she wasn't going to fall in love with Lorelai.
No, definitely not. But they...
Wait, Luke almost wasn't like a character is what you're trying to tell me? There's just going to be some random coffee lady. It was going to be called like Cheryl's instead of Luke.
Yeah. But yeah, it was going to be a lady, which I love Luke and Lorelai, so.
Yeah, I'm glad that it was Scott Patterson. Didn't he also not have a lot of acting?
No, he originally did baseball.
Yeah. That's so cool. I don't know. He's perfect. I like Luke a lot. I think he's great.
I do too. And I think that's another one of those pairings where like Jess and Rory have a lot of chemistry, but Luke and Lorelai,
off the charts, man.
It's really good. That's also another like slow burn that I don't mind.
I don't mind. I love that it's slow and that I love the journey. I mean, I have opinions on like season 6 and season 7 and some things that I think are unnecessary plot wise.
I hate the April Nardini storyline.
Me too. That's what I was also gonna say. I really wish they hadn't done that to him because it's like they're getting ready, like finally after like years and years of like just flirting and seeing each other go like in and out of other relationships, like Luke and Lorelai are finally like engaged. I love that she proposes to him.
Yeah.
I love that, they're engaged and they go on their first date after all this time. It's just super cute. And then it's like, oh, he has a long lost daughter? Are you kidding me? And Luke doesn't seem like I don't know. It's just so annoying for his character to have to deal with too, because
it also seems like annoying for him as a character.
Yeah.
Which is like a weird thing to write. That's like a little nitpick where it's like,
also, why then? Why the timing? Isn't she like 8 or 10 or something? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, why that?
And why another Rory? It would be interesting if they already gave him Jess.
Yeah, that's the thing is I feel like they gave him Jess.
He had, he's kind of like a surrogate father to Rory, who's like April.
It's too complicated.
Yeah.
Too much.
I also, watching it this time, I didn't realize. So, like the whole anticipation with Luke and Lorelai.
Mm-hmm.
And then, after the Dragonfly Inn episode, which is like really good.
Yes.
That's one of my favorites. It's Raincoats and Recipes.
Mm-hmm.
After that, they've had their first kiss, in front of Kirk.
Yeah.
And, like there's this whole, like they finally kissed. It's like finally a thing and they're trying to like set up that they're finally together.
Yes.
But they sleep together very quick after that. I actually, and I don't know the feedback because I didn't watch it in real time, but watching it now, I'm like, they could have actually prolonged the will they won't they a little bit more. Like they didn't have to just like, because one minute they're just like having their first kiss and the next thing you know, they're jumped into bed together.
That's what grown adults do. That's what this show says. That's what I'm learning anyway. On the rewatch, I'm like, not trying to judge like Lorelai or anything, but I'm just like, ooh.
But like as soon as they jump into bed, all of a sudden they're like a couple. Yeah. Like there was
it does happen fast.
And I wouldn't mind. For
kind of like how like Jess and Rory, after they started dating, they were a little bit like, ooh, we're shy all of a sudden.
Yeah. Cause like they do have that storyline about like, Taylor's in the Stars Hollow meeting being like, we don't want them to date because then we're going to have to choose as a town. And they consider it, but it's a fast storyline. Like if they were going to have at least 6 seasons, I don't count the 7th.
Yeah.
If they're going to have 6 seasons, they could have actually played that out a little more.
No, I agree.
I take that over April
storyline. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give us some more of that push-pull. Yeah.
Because what if they were like, well, maybe we can't be together because like we're going to split the town in half.
Yeah.
And then
but instead it's like he has this obligation and he ignores Lorelai kind of. And yeah. But not really on purpose. And then Christopher complicates things. I don't know. I don't really like Christopher that much either. Like I get his purpose and I think he's a comfort for Lorelai. Like I think they both find comfort in each other when things are going bad in their own lives.
And it's always when things are going bad.
Exactly. And then, you know what's interesting though? Like rewatching this, you know the scene, like there's like an episode where Lorelai and Luke, I guess, are kind of, they're on the verge of breaking up, I guess, because they haven't gotten married yet. They've just been engaged for a while. And she goes to the Friday night dinner, and then Christopher is there, and then like Emily and Richard try to set him up with some other family friend who's like also a psychiatrist, and then she ends up talking to the psychiatrist lady. But she says, the only man I think I've ever loved is Luke. She doesn't even say Christopher, which I think is interesting, because I think she loves him in a way, because they go way back and they're friends and they've had a kid together. Like they've known each other since they were teenagers. So they're comfortable around each other, but I don't think he's definitely not the big love of her life. Like I think it's just maybe easy in some ways to fall into this pattern of just, I don't know, but he also annoys me because he never quite steps it up. And then right as he does, something else always happens. Like it's...
Yeah, like I think the Christopher storyline, he could never be a dad to Rory. He could never be there for her. And then we see him time and time again basically put his relationship with even Lorelai ahead of Rory's. Like he's way more concerned with being with Lorelai in some capacity than being a father to Rory.
Yeah.
And then the whole Sherry, like Gigi storyline where he has a kid. And basically it all falls on Rory and Lorelai, and like, which Lauren Graham plays that episode where Gigi's born perfectly. Like you could see like the heartbreak in her face when they're looking at the baby through the glass and Christopher's talking. So good. But just Christopher's never done anything for them positively.
No, he hasn't. What has he done for them lately?
And yeah. And like Lorelai just goes back, like you said, as a comfort, but also it is a pattern.
It's like, a pattern, and it's frustrating, especially when like literally like the day after she breaks up with Luke, it's just so fast that I'm like, I just want to be like, wait, don't do anything rash. And it's frustrating.
But it's to feel something. And like, I get it. Like we all, right? We all have like an ex where we all know that we could probably call them up tomorrow.
Let's get that booty call.
or like get back with them, get some sort of validation.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't do that. I think when it's a great love.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I'd do that to Ben. I don't think Lorelai should do that to Luke.
Yeah.
Not to like really just insert myself in the narrative, but you know what I mean? Like,
yes. I think Luke is the one, like it's just the timing. I don't know.
You can do that with Jason Stiles. You can do that with Max Medina.
Oh, yeah. Those guys don't matter.
But not with Luke Danes. Not with Big Daddy Luke.
No, not with Big Daddy Luke.
No. Do we have any thoughts on the casting of Sookie St. James?
Yes. I mean, I love Melissa McCarthy. I think she's really like sweet in this role. Like her character is so lovable. Like Sookie is so funny and clumsy, and you're just like, aw, that's Sookie. Like,
I know, Sookie's so cute. And I feel like there's like there's two types of people in this world. Ones that entertain and ones that observe, but also ones that know Melissa McCarthy and associate her with Sookie, and then discovered her from Bridesmaids.
Oh, yeah.
And she's always Bridesmaids to me. So I think when I watched this back in 2014, 2015, and I saw her on screen, Melissa McCarthy, I was like shook to my core, but then I buy it as soon as she's just Sookie. I love it.
Yeah. Because Sookie, she's also such a different character than like Melissa McCarthy's character in Bridesmaids. Melissa McCarthy has range, is all I gotta say.
Truly.
And I believe that she is Sookie.
Oh, yeah. No, there's no doubt in my mind.
And it'd be weird if it was Alex Bornstein as it was gonna be originally cast. Like, I don't know. That wouldn't have the same feeling. Like her and Lorelai, I don't think they'd have that same chemistry, the same back and forth. It wouldn't be like it. I could see her like as the harp player when she like makes that like appearance as the harp player. That's so funny, and the way she's very like quick witted. But it's like Sookie is just like, I don't know, like a bowl of sunshine.
Sweet.
Like she's just so sweet. It's like Alex Bornstein could never, no offense, you know, it's just a different vibe.
Alex Bornstein would slap Lorelai up in the head and give her the deuces.
But see, I love that too. Like, but you can't have both.
No. Also, if Alex Bornstein played Sookie, would she be able to star in the Lizzie McGuire movie as Mrs. Ungermeyer, who is the best part of that whole entire movie?
More importantly, yeah.
That cultural moment where her and Lizzie McGuire go to Rome?
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Yeah.
I know. Things happen. Life finds a way.
Yeah, life finds a way.
Oh. We have talked about the pilot being perfection.
Yeah.
Any other really like early season standout episodes?
Trying to think. I feel like there are. I feel like mostly for me, they're mostly like beef that I have with Dean.
Okay, we need to talk about Dean.
Yeah, we need to talk about Dean.
Dean Forrester, played by Jared Padalecki.
Yeah.
Who I love in other things. I even love him like early Dean.
I was gonna say, I like early Dean. He does have a charm about him. He's cute, you know. He's kind of sweet. A little creepy, you know, that he's been watching her. But, you know, not too crazy yet. I feel like, you know, they have a cute little budding romance at the beginning. And then it gets weird. Like, the Donna Reed episode, I'm not, like, you know, biggest fan of. But I also think Rory tries a little too hard as well. And I'm like, I don't know why she does all that. Because he doesn't exactly ask her to do all that either.
No.
So I'm like...
But he's into it, which is also weird.
Yeah, so it's weird. I just think like it's mostly when Jess gets to town, there's definitely a shift. As much as like Rory doesn't want to have these feelings, I guess she definitely does. She just vibes. I think she has more in common with Jess than she does with Dean. I feel like Jess seems to just get her references. Like they both really are into the same kind of like books and authors. Like they bond over that kind of.
They're matching.
Scholarly.
They have like matched wits.
They have matched wits. And Dean, no offense, it doesn't have that with Rory. Like he's like, what are you talking about, Rory? We've been at the book sale and I looked around for 20 minutes and then you were there for 2 hours. No, yeah. I'm not mad. And he's all like passive aggressive and pouty. Like that's where my beef is with Dean, is that he like says one thing and then acts kind of another way. And you know, I think that's when he starts to annoy me, is in season 2, maybe season 3, like just...
I think he annoys me from the get-go.
Yeah.
I think like the pilot, you know, it's like you still are trying to figure it out. Mm-hmm. Like Dean's just like this cute, you know, boy who in the pilot does understand her references a little bit more. However, it's just like a Rosemary's Baby reference and whatever. Like,
yeah, but he's also like, oh, the movie. You know?
Yeah.
He hasn't read the book.
No. And I think he's trying to win Rory over. I think there are times where he really just want to win her over. And he is very sweet. Like Lorelai says, he's like the perfect first boyfriend. Mm-hmm. But that's just it. He's just a really great starter boyfriend.
Yeah.
But starter boyfriends, typically, he's like the blueprint. He's like a little too needy, too jealous, too quick to anger.
Oh yeah, because he's like jealous of that boy. Is it Tristan?
Tristan,
right, at Chilton. Like,
and
that
he
dude?
goes to when they're doing Romeo and Juliet. He goes to the
Creepy.
practice and just sits there and watches.
Actually, yeah, I have a beef with that too. Yeah. Wait, I thought you were gonna defend Dean though.
No, I will defend Logan.
Oh, Logan. Never mind. That's okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put words in your mouth.
No, Dean sucks.
Okay, yeah, we can agree with that. Yeah.
And yeah, I love my short king Jess Mariano. When he comes into town,
he tumbles in like a tumbleweed.
Oh yeah, playing, is it like This Is Hell or whatever the song is?
Yes.
He gets me every time. That's my type of man anyways.
Yeah, the bad boy.
The bad boy, but he's not just, he like stirs up shenanigans, which I love. And I think the reason why I love like a Jess for Rory, or I love a Logan even, is Rory takes herself so seriously and Dean's such a serious
he's
dude.
Too serious.
He's like the fool. Like it really like grinds my gears, you know, like the dudes that are like either like, I've known you for 2 minutes, we should get married, or like in high school, like the dudes that are like, just too serious when you know it's like high school. Like you shouldn't be serious with anyone.
High school. I mean, I think Rory says that too at a certain point, or even when he gets like engaged to what's her name? Like,
Lindsay.
Yeah. She's like, but you're only like 18 and aren't you going to go to college? And aren't you like, what about, which I think maybe he does some of that, but it's like.
But he just doesn't see that. He's just, I don't know, he's too intense.
He's very intense. Too much.
Yeah. And Rory's such like an intense person too, like very serious person. And I think that's where she needs like a
someone not so serious.
Or, you know, because Jess, he's the bad boy and like Stars Hollow hates him. But like, I love the episode when, you know, Rory's getting a lot of flack for, you know, like the movie rentals and she's like in the front.
Yes, like the curtain or whatever.
Yeah, it's like the Stars Hollow person of the month. And like Jess is like those people, because they're like putting behind all the R-rated movies or like what Taylor doesn't deem is like sensible. And Jess slips like R-rated movies into like The Lion King or whatever. And
just to stir up a little trouble.
And to like help Rory out. And it's just like Rory gives a little smirk and like he gives a little smirk. I love that. Or like even later seasons where Logan's like, you gotta like loosen up, base.
Yeah, I do like that aspect about Logan too. Like I feel like he's somewhere in between like Jess and Dean, maybe a little. I don't know. I mean, maybe he's not that serious, but he's a little more reliable than Jess, but has like a fun factor.
Definitely.
So I can see the appeal.
Oh, truly. And I think, I don't know. I mean, do we want to get into that storyline at all?
I mean, we can. Yeah. I mean, unless we want to talk about Jess some more, but I don't know.
Is there anything else? I mean, he's not like a great boyfriend when they're younger. He like leaves unannounced and breaks her heart, but I don't know. I live for
but we
baby.
Still love him.
I still stand.
Yeah. I love when he comes back and like is kind of like, Rory, what are you doing? Like, why are you like dropping out of Yale?
Why'd you drop out of Yale?
Yeah. He's like, what are you doing with your life? Like he kind of snaps her back into reality and
truly. You know. Well, I love that episode too when Rory does drop out of Yale and you know that happens with Jess. But then she kind of tries to blame Logan. And Logan also yells at her.
He's like, wait a minute, don't blame me. It is kind of true. Like she does at some point. It is like, yeah, like you also are making choices. Like you kind of have to own up to it. Like you can't sleep with a married man. And I don't know.
Well, you can, but you gotta like, you know, that whole storyline coming back to the Dean affair, the Dean 2.0.
Yeah.
Is like, it's very interesting how, you know, the storyline is, they have this affair. Rory goes with Emily to Europe for the summer. She writes this note, which is basically like, I don't regret having the affair, but I'm going to take myself out of the equation, which is the right thing to do.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And, you know, it basically backfires. And Dean, what he takes from that letter is it's kind of not.
Oh, yeah. Because she doesn't regret it or whatever.
That's what he hears. And basically it's like, oh, we're going to have Dean 2.0. Dean and Rory 2.0.
I never liked that.
I love the final moment where like Richard and Emily, which is like controlling crazy wackadoo as they are. I love that they throw that party for her with all the like prospects, including Logan. Because at that moment, like, she should not be with Dean.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, you're in Yale. He's at Dosie's Market still. Like, he's a fool. He's got clown face on him. But yeah, like, the fact that they thought, like, oh, they could just break up the marriage and start like it was normal.
Yeah.
And it's not.
And get a warm reception. Like, it's weird.
And, like, I really do wish Rory would have been able to break up with him, but like I get not being in that place, but when he's like, I don't belong here anymore, and Logan's like, let's party. Which is like the right thing to do. They're in college. Like they should be like raging.
Is this in your defense of Logan? I want to hear what you have to say about Logan.
Okay, so like I think Logan, like Jess, but in a different way. I think Jess is someone that sees Rory's potential and like loves her for that person, like who she is, will accept it, but also wants her to live up to her potential. And because they knew each other as teenagers, has a stake in it.
Yeah.
It's different. It's different than the Logan relationship. Logan doesn't like...
He doesn't know her in that capacity.
He doesn't care about her like that.
Yeah.
Until he does, but yeah, he doesn't start off like with this like... I don't know how to word it, but yeah, he's like a rich boy from Yale who never has really been in a relationship before. He's just like a playboy, loves to party.
Yeah.
He's like an heir to the Huntsberger, like newspaper empire,
Ooh, yeah.
But yeah, he definitely like sees the potential in Rory, but also knows like this is someone that takes herself way too seriously.
Yeah.
And like I love the episode You Jump I Jump Jack.
Yes. I love that episode.
Where she's like, oh yeah, like a journalist never, participates. And he's like, what the fuck? They do. Like, just afraid.
Yeah, he's like, come on.
Like he pushes her, but then in defense of him, I think like there are people like Lorelai who just see him, or even Jess to a certain degree, just see him on the outside. Like he's flawed, but they see him as someone that's from Richard and Emily's world, from that world, which is also like, mortal enemy, like number one. And like, I don't really think that's fair because he is the one who's standing beside Rory in her decisions.
Yeah.
And actually there when she falls. But she has to make those decisions.
No, I agree. I mean, it is interesting because they're like, oh, it's that boy she was hanging around. But she ultimately does make these decisions. I mean...
He just doesn't, like, leave her, though. Which is refreshing.
He lets her make the decisions. He even makes them with her. Like, he makes the decision to steal the boat as well.
He doesn't want to, necessarily.
But it does not. I mean, it's like a Bonnie and Clyde sort of vibe is what I get. Like, it's kind of fun. Like, they're like, ooh, we're doing this together because we can. Like...
But she's coming from such a sad place. She wants to do it. Or, like, dropping out. And, like, when she kind of blames him and throws it back in his face and he snaps on her.
Yeah.
Like, they just start dating. Like, he, for one, doesn't have that authority. What is he going to tell her? You just start dating someone. You can't be, like, that judgmental about them dropping out of school,
Yeah.
And he thought she'd come around. It's not his fault. At least he's there trying to be, like, have a drink, have fun. If you're going to drop out of Yale, at least, and have this temporary, like, sabbatical, at least be messy and have fun. Like, don't just, like, feel ashamed of your situation.
Yeah. I mean, I do like that about Logan. It's like, he's like, yeah, don't be ashamed of whatever. Like, he's like, he seems very free.
Yeah.
I think he envies Rory too, because she doesn't have the same, like, she does have a lot of pressure on her shoulders, but at the same time, she has more possibilities, and he has just the one that's carved out for, like, he has this, like, path that his father is, like, expecting him to take, and at least Rory has choices.
Yeah.
So there's that. I don't know. I mean, I don't think he's, like, terrible for her. I just prefer Jess.
Oh, yeah.
But it's so frustrating because Jess is so flighty. But also, like, I guess there was supposed to be, like, a spin-off with Jess as well, which was really weird to discover.
I always skip that episode.
Yeah.
Where he goes to California to see his dad. It's a skip for me.
It is kind of weird, but it's also, like, I'm glad they didn't do a spin-off because I don't think it would have been as good. Like, I don't think...
Because him and Rory are endgame.
Yeah, we need him in the series.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do you think that Rory should have married Logan at the end? Do you think she made a mistake?
Of the series or in A Year in the Life?
In the series.
Not in the series, but in Year in the Life. It was like I was screaming at the TV.
And the Year in the Life.
Rory, stop it. Logan doesn't want to marry this girl. He's giving you the opportunity to just,
Yeah. Plus, it's probably his baby. And I don't know. That's so frustrating. Yeah, it is very frustrating.
But yeah, like at the end of season 6, not necessarily.
Yeah, because that's like, who needs to be married right now? They're still young and figuring things out.
Yeah.
Man, so complicated.
I know. Let's see. We haven't really talked about Richard and Emily.
Oh yeah, another favorite couple.
Yeah, I'm more than Richard and Emily. I am Emily Gilmore Hive Rise.
Yes,
like,
same.
I think Emily Gilmore, like Kelly Bishop in general, is such an underrated actress.
Yes,
I think she gets some of the wittiest dialogue that's just like snuck in there. Like she can play with Lauren Graham so well.
Yeah.
And like Emily, the character of Emily and Lorelai can match each other in the dialogue. It's just like low key. It's like, I don't know. It's
so
great.
Good. I love when she's like sitting in the chair and she's like, "Mother, is that you?" She's like, "No, it's a hologram. Lifelike, isn't it?" And she's just like really sassy.
Queen.
Or when Lorelai shows up at Chilton, like on Rory's first day, and it was laundry day, she's wearing like Daisy Dukes and
that iconic like pink tie-dye.
Yeah, the pink tie-dye top and like cowgirl boots, and it's like, what does she say? Like, is the rodeo in town or something? It was like really funny because you can see where Lorelai gets it. Like, I love their dynamic as well.
Definitely.
It's so interesting, even though it's kind of like a flawed relationship. I don't know.
It definitely is. I think like I really love how the writers, you can see it from Lorelai's point of view, of course, but you can also see it from Emily's. And I think every time Lorelai has this feeling about her mom, you also see Emily's feelings on the situation where, you know, I think she wants to be involved so much with Rory because of this guilt with Lorelai.
Yeah.
And I think I love Edward Herrmann as Richard.
Same.
But I can never get behind him as much because of that one episode where they're all arguing when Chris's family's in town and at the family dinner and basically tells Rory to her face that she's a mistake. And Richard pops off, but then tells Lorelai, I didn't do this because of you. I did it because of the name.
Yeah, that was
like,
pretty
don't
hurtful.
get it twisted.
That was mean.
But there's been times where Emily, you know, has stood up for Lorelai. Yeah. And it's in her heart. Go ahead.
No, I agree. Or she's like, where she said to Richard, like, hey, we're going to lose her again. Like, let's not do this because basically Lorelai hasn't been in their lives for years, or unless it's like maybe a holiday. Like, you can just tell in the first season when she has to go and ask them for like money and stuff. They're like, oh, what is it? Easter? What is it? Like, you know, the only time they really see each other is like maybe a holiday. They don't have that closeness. So you know that like there's a lot of distance between her and her parents. So it's, I don't know, you can definitely see Emily wanting to be closer to her daughter, which is kind of heartbreaking. But it is kind of like, you can understand, you can see Lorelai's perspective as well.
Oh yeah.
Like, you can totally see it. And there are times where Emily is like a little too much, a little
intense.
And yeah, like a little controlling. I mean, Richard too, like both of them. Even like when they take Rory to Yale and he kind of sets up that meeting but doesn't tell anyone and doesn't even tell Rory. And she's like, I would have done this, Grandpa, if you told me. Like, I just wanted to be prepared. Like, you didn't have to sneak it. It didn't have to be like manipulation. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that they show like Emily's manipulation and they kind of like give a reasoning behind it, but we never get Richard's.
Yeah, because he's a man.
And maybe because of Gilmore.
It's Gilmore
Girls.
Because his mama's crazy. What do they call her?
Tricks,
yeah.
That storyline's
interesting. Call her
Gran.
Yeah, that's a weird storyline. Like, his relationship with his mother is so weird.
And then that's the whole, like, it's kind of the start of their separation because of the whole Pennell and Lot situation.
Yeah.
And, like, Emily finds that note from Gran, Trix, being like, don't marry Emily.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's that whole dynamic between Emily and Trix as well. That's like, ooh.
Yeah.
And you kind of, I don't know. I like Emily. You know, and the more you watch the show, I think the more you kind of understand her a bit. And, you know, she can be problematic for sure. But you know, who doesn't have someone in your family that's a little complicated but means well, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like she means well.
I love it. I love that episode when they're at the mall. Like, they run into her at the mall and she's like borderline separating from Richard And she's so, like, she's angry shopping, which is a mood.
Yeah.
But I, like, love that like dynamic shift when they're in the food court and Lorelai's basically like giving her an orange Julius for the first time and like, you know, indoctrinating her into their world.
Yeah.
You know,
it's always fun when they bring her into their world a bit. Like,
yes,
I love those episodes.
I also love the Richard and Rory relationship. I think that's a really cute relationship because he just like adores her and like sees her as someone with brimming potential, but also, you know, just wants to spoil her.
It is really cute. Like when they go golfing for the first time is super cute. Even though they both were like, I don't know if we'll like this. Then they end up being like besties. Like it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Oh, I love her 16th birthday when Richard and Emily go to the like Stars Hollow party and he like gives her money twice for a trip to Fez.
Oh,
and he's like, well, you'll need more for your trip to Fez. And that's always a sweet moment.
Yeah. I mean, I think he means well too, but yeah, there's moments where I'm like, what the heck is wrong with this dude?
He's just so cold to Lorelai. I think I love his love for Rory and eventually like in Wedding Bell Blues, I love his like love for Emily. You know how they have
they have a cute little romance.
Yeah. But yeah, he's really cold to Lorelai.
A little too harsh on her sometimes. And
loves Christopher. They both love Christopher.
They love Christopher way too much.
Red flag. Don't love Christopher.
You think they would be more upset because he was the one that got Lorelai pregnant, but
I think they're more upset that they didn't just get like married and like
and they blame it all on Lorelai, which I guess I get it, but at the same time, it's like, well, you're so young too. I don't know. I don't know if that would have solved everything. I like the storyline. Like I like how Lorelai is kind of self-sufficient, and I love like when she like makes the Dragonfly Inn happen with Sookie. You know, just they live their dreams.
Yes,
very satisfying.
Yes. Oh my god, can we talk about that episode where I know we're like going all over the place. Yeah. When Rory graduates from Chilton, and it's like the same time where Sookie and Lorelai hear the news about the Dragonfly Inn, and I think it's like the best season finale in that way.
It is super cute. Yeah. They're like making faces at each other and she's like, we got the inn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, like Rory's speech about, you know, the love for her grandparents then also her hero, her mom. It gets me every time.
Gets me every time too. I was like, yeah.
No, it warms me hot.
And Luke is crying too. He's like, I'm not crying.
So good. Well, no, he's there. Guess who's not?
Christopher. Yeah, that's the thing. Luke always shows up. Like, he's there for all the major life events, you know, like with Rory and for Lorelai. Like, he shows up. Like, he helps. He does something.
He always shows up.
Yeah, he was there at the hospital when Richard goes to the hospital both times.
Mm-hmm. He helped with the inn. He's the reason why they get the inn pretty much.
Yeah, what more do you want? I don't know.
He's a good man. Good man, Luke.
He's a good man.
Any more thoughts on any of Lorelai's other love interests, or is it just like Luke and Lorelai endgame?
I say it's endgame. I mean, Max, he was all right, but I don't know. I can't even think of the other dude's name. The other guy annoyed me so much. What was his name?
Jason Stiles.
Jason, yeah. I didn't like him.
I thought it was very interesting their storyline in a way, just because Lorelai is so just weird in relationships. I think between her and Jason and her and Max, she's very weird in relationships, like so non-committal.
Yeah.
But to a point where it's like weird, and I've never seen a character written like that, and I think that's really intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like she's so like, oh, I don't want to be, especially with Jason, like, oh, I don't want to go on a fancy date. She's like, I want to go on a date with you. No, I don't. Even with Max, she's like, I want to go on a date. No, I don't. Oh, you don't want me? I want you. No. Too much commitment.
Yeah.
Or like when Jason gives her the key and she like gets all weird, you know?
Yeah, she does act weird in relationships. Yeah.
Like does not communicate at all.
At all. No, it is frustrating to watch. Yeah.
Yeah. But I love a single wanting to be with Luke, Lorelai.
Same. I think that's when she's her best.
For sure.
And then when they finally do kind of get together, it's cool.
Yeah.
Satisfying. I don't know, because he's kind of the same way. He's like, I don't know. He's just very non-committal. But
he's oddly, though, like, why is he, what is her name? Nicole?
Yeah, they get married on like the cruise or something.
Yeah, like very weird storyline, which I think is really funny.
Yeah, that I didn't understand at all, but it happened.
I love when they're at the family dinner with Emily, and she's like, so you've been recently divorced? And he's like, well, I don't know, define recent. And she was like, within the year. And then it just made me think about like the time frame where I'm like, oh, that is really...
Things happen fast in Stars Hollow.
They talk fast and
super fast.
Timelines are fast.
Yeah. But what about Lane? I was thinking about Lane, and I love her.
I love Lane. Do you relate to Lane?
I feel like I do. Yeah.
The floorboards.
I don't know if I ever had a floorboard, but it would have been cool if I did.
She definitely has like some Harry Potter skills as far as like making other things like turn into bookcases for her CDs.
Right. And I love how she like has her closet just as like this little like disco haven.
I love that. I love Lane. I think justice for Lane though. I don't know. I like rewatching like season 6, season 7 Lane.
Yeah.
Makes me so, I mean, it's not like everyone has to have like a path where, you know, like getting married and having kids isn't wrong.
No.
But I think like for Lane, I wish I saw her more.
Yeah, for Lane, I feel like it is wrong though. Cause I don't know. I feel like there's so much I feel like she wants to do. Maybe like with her art, with her drumming, with like...
She loves music so much.
Yeah.
With Happy Alien.
Yeah. I have feelings on her and, what's his name?
Zach?
Zach. I wish, like, I don't know. I really liked, Dave for her.
Dave Grigowski.
That hurt me. When Dave had to leave, I was so hurt because I thought he was perfect.
He is perfect.
You know?
But that's my man anyways.
Is that because he left for like his TV show? Was it The OC?
Yeah.
Man, The OC just snatching them up.
Yep.
Wow.
But he would have never been Seth Cohen, and that's like my first love.
Yeah.
So.
It's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, Justice for Lane. I don't know how I felt about her storyline, but...
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I don't know. I think I love Lane and Rory's friendship so much.
Yeah.
I love like Lane as a person. I love like her just drumming.
Yeah.
Just wanting to like break free from her super strict Korean mom.
Right.
But I think her storyline just takes a weird turn.
It does. It's just not as satisfying as it could be.
It's not. I don't know. I understand Dave had to go and, go to the OC. But it's funny because the show, so Lane is based off of Amy Sherman Palladino's best friend and one of the executive producers, Helen Pye. Pay or Pie? I don't know. Whatever one. But she's married in real life to a man named Dave Grigowski.
What?
And I feel like that was definitely what they wanted to happen. But,
no.
Damn you, the OC.
So we had to get Zach.
Yeah, which I don't mind Zach. And I don't mind that storyline. I just think it's very, I don't know. I don't know. I just want to see Lane like do more. But
I know. I'm like, why do they have to make her like pregnant with 2 babies? It's a lot.
It's a lot. That girl's tiny.
Yeah. And like, how are they going to pay for all that? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a lot.
It is really like watching this time. It was stressful seeing when her and Zach and Brian move in to that like house after she gets kicked out by her mom. Yeah. And like they have like no food and like one washcloth as their one towel, and they don't have any money.
It's like they got to grow up fast.
Yeah. So.
I feel for her.
I know. But I love her.
Yeah. Hope she's doing well. What I guess in the year in the life, I don't really remember what.
She's just married to Zach with babies. Yeah. I think they're still playing music.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. I love the the guest appearance of Sebastian Bach from Skid Row. I love seeing him. He's the older long-haired dude.
In the series? Like the guy who auditioned for the guitar?
Yes.
Is it that guy?
Yeah, he's
okay,
from like a heavy metal band.
Okay.
Or not heavy metal. They were like hair metal.
You know what? Speaking, I don't know if this is too all over the place to mention, but did you know that Kim Gordon was in an episode of Gilmore Girls? Did you catch that?
I did not peep it. Which one?
Yeah, there is an episode, I think it's on season 6. You know that when the town troubadour has been picked up by like some talent scout or something?
Yes.
And like how there's all these like people, this influx of like bohemian artsy buskers. Anyway, yeah, she was singing in the middle of the middle of the square, and I was like, wait a minute, that's Kim Gordon. I had to pause my TV and Google because I'm like, wait, is this true? And yeah, it was her, and it was her husband, Thurston Moore, and their 11-year-old daughter were all in that scene.
I didn't even peep Thurston Moore, but that's a niche where I could have.
I know. I thought of you. Yeah, it was season 6, episode 22, FYI.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool. Just that little pop culture bit.
Sonic Youth cameo.
Sonic Youth cameo.
I love it. I didn't peep it, but I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that segues into music.
Oh yeah.
What I always think of, to circle back to the spring break episode, is the Shins are at the party.
The Shins. I love the Shins.
I love the Shins. We've talked about the Shins so much this month.
I know. So it's been a month of Shins.
Never stop. But thinking about like shows like The OC, or I think One Tree Hill, but I didn't watch that show, but definitely The OC, who introduced me to this type of indie music, which would have been like Death Cab, because that's Seth Cohen's favorite band. And I feel like that show is very like Phantom Planet, so it's theme song, and you know, it's like very music oriented because of Seth Cohen's character. But the OC is very like music heavy, with like the soundtracks being, you know, just very iconic. I feel like Gilmore Girls low key, like of course like the La-Las, the Sam Phillips of it all, and the Troubadour. But then it like does this like very like early aughts kind of OC moment where like it's just the Shins at a party.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. It really taps into something with like the vibe of the whole show. Like
it's cool because like Rory also, like it seems like it would track that Rory would like the Shins.
Yeah, definitely.
She would have liked Garden State, that soundtrack at least.
She would have loved it. I love like when she visits Jess in New York and they go to that old record store and they just nerd out about music and stuff, and I don't know.
I love that too. Oh my God. One of my favorite like little things in a scene is when she's burning the new Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah.
Not Arctic Monkeys. Not the Arctic Monkeys. Arcade Fire.
Arcade Fire. Yeah.
It could have been Arctic Monkeys.
I knew what you meant.
Arcade Fire.
Arcade Fire. Yeah.
In my head, I was like thinking, I wanted to say Arctic Monkeys for some reason.
I've been thinking about the Arctic Monkeys a lot.
But then I also was like, but this would have been 2004. And like the Arctic Monkeys didn't come out until like 2006. So what happened with this band? Like I feel like my mind just got like.
I feel like the Arctic Monkeys would have been good somewhere in the series, you know?
Yes.
When Jess is around. He gives off an Arctic Monkeys vibe. It's that hair.
Totally.
And those leather jackets.
I think Jess would have been like, I'm not a big fan of the Arctic Monkeys, but like that song 505.
Yeah, just that one song.
He just like on his iPod Nano, just singing, I'm going back to 505. But Arcade Fire.
Arcade Fire, yeah.
So totally tracks. Do you have any other favorite like musical moments?
I mean, I feel like, yeah, it's in the pilot, I think, too. Like when Lorelai and Rory kind of fight after she's like, I'm not going to Chilton. And then they both put on the Macy Gray CD.
Try to say goodbye and I choke. I love that song so much.
Same. That's just, I love that they both are playing it separately on their own CD players in their own rooms. Like they both have the same CD. And it's just like really cool. You know, sometimes you just have to listen to a song when you're feeling moody and.
Definitely. I'm thinking about the pilot now and like the first season of Gilmore Girls.
Mm-hmm.
It's so niche 2000, which I don't think about the year 2000 a lot. I mean, I was very young, but just like the Macy Gray of it all. Like I like, you know how like sometimes those references can like really date a show and it be off-putting? This is the opposite.
I agree.
Where I'm like, oh my God. Do you remember like Macy Gray when she came out with that album and I Try, and it was like everywhere?
Mm-hmm.
And I love like Lorelai's style in that first season.
Yes.
Which like I wrote down in my notes, and I don't know if this makes any sense. But like, do you remember in the year 2000, this niche style? It's very like Enya core. And like, do you remember those like beaded bracelets with like the Chinese lettering on them?
Yes.
And like
butterfly tops almost, like, or like the tops with they're almost like cap sleeves. They're like flowy, but they're like.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? Like a fairy top, maybe.
A fairy top, like Y2K yoga chic. Like they read like the Christy Brinkley yoga book once and like wanted to emulate that style. Do you know what I mean though? Like,
yeah, it's a very specific vibe.
Yeah.
But Lorelai pulls it off.
She does. I love her style in those first 2 seasons too, because it's so like those t-shirts with just the Chinese lettering on them, or like when she meets Max Medina for the parent-teacher conference. And it's like that skirt suit. And then the B-52 shirt underneath.
B-52s. I love it. I know. I love all her skirt suits. Or like even when she wears like these tops that are kind of like pinstriped almost.
Yes.
But are like cinched. Like they have like collars and they're flattering.
They're like business.
They're like business. Yeah. I always thought I'd be wearing tops like that. But I don't think I can pull them off like she can. I'm like.
No, I don't look good in like a button down.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, how do you...
It doesn't suit me.
How does she do it?
I've been really into lately, my TikTok has really been into giving me like, they keep talking about kibby body types and talking about like color palettes, which I'm a winter. Oh, okay. For sure.
I know about color palettes.
But I don't know my kibby body type. But whatever it is, it could be gamine and something because I'm really tiny. Like, not like
what
skinny,
are you saying?
Just petite.
What language
short.
is this?
I don't know, like soft gamine or something. I don't know. But anyways, whatever kibby body type I have does not look good in those tops. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess anyone looks good in those tops. I don't know. I feel like I
think I
weird.
disagree. I think only Lauren Graham looks good in those tops.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. Like, because there's something so like early 2000s about that vibe, especially with like a flared jean.
Yes.
Like that combo of like flared jean with like a business top that she just wears so well. And I don't think I've seen anyone really do that since then.
I feel like I'd look like a waiter.
Yeah, same. I remember being into that. I remember like as a kid, like as a young teen having something similar to that and being into that look, but it's not. It came across more probably like Rory when she wears some of her clothes, like because there's sometimes where Rory wears shirts kind of like that, but it doesn't have the same, like I feel like when Lorelai wears those tops, it's very like she's a powerful businesswoman, like it's she's like, I don't know, has this like pride. I don't know how to describe it. I don't like look good in like business clothes. Yeah, but the fun t-shirts she wears, I'm like, I could wear that. I could rock with that. Yeah, like the cat with like the little tiara and like the, you know. I love that. I love her funky style. I love her early aughts bandanas. I was gonna say bandanas, bandana tops. Like, oh my gosh, any other fashion moments we want to discuss? Because I feel like this is low key like an iconic fashion show. I think it is. I feel like there's so many. Like I feel like there's probably like so many of those like dresses that she wears too, that are almost like fairy dresses, you know what I'm talking about? You know, and I, as much as I love Lorelai and like Lauren Graham, I think she's always a babe. So I never really question her outfits. I feel like there's a lot more times where I've been like, oh my God, I love this outfit of Rory's. However, I do love
anytime I think I've peeped it on Rory, Lane, and Lorelai, a Paul Frank moment.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes, the Paul Frank. Ah. You know, I think that may be coming back.
I hope so.
I saw like an advertisement for Paul Frank. Like for like it was one of those like I don't know if it was Dolls Kill or one of those.
Oh, like when they did like the Delia's collab?
Yeah. There's some type of collab I think happening with Paul Frank right now.
Oh my gosh.
It's wild.
While I look this up, do you have any fashion moments?
I mean, I love any time that Lauren Graham wears like a leather jacket, like one of those long leather jackets, you know? Like
oh,
yeah.
leather,
you know what I'm talking about?
You can buy Paul Frank men's clothing at Target.
Oh, interesting.
Or Target online, but not women's.
That's lame. Let's see.
But yeah, fashion. I'm, of course, a big fan of the Rory white jumper in the pilot.
Yes.
That's iconic.
It is. It's iconic. It's classic.
Yeah.
It's cute. Yeah, I feel like I like Rory's fashion as well. I mean, I really just love the funky t-shirts, to be honest. Like, I think it's fun when Lorelai wears them because they're kind of childish.
Yes.
But I love that.
I think she has such a fun style, and it's fun to see her evolve from this very, like, Y2K cowboy hat and a tie-dye shirt.
Yeah.
Kind of gal. And it's fun to see her mature. And then she's just like in very like mid 2000s, like quote unquote age appropriate clothes. And then it's fun to see Rory go from like oversized sweaters and the Chilton wardrobe with like the, you know, sock hop shoes and go into a mature style. But it's not even, it's kind of fun. It's kind of like dainty.
Yeah.
It's like it's very, you know how I would describe the Lorelai's style? So both like Lorelai and Rory, do you remember like early 2000s Ashley Tisdale style?
Yes.
So like Lorelai is definitely her red carpet looks. Like the crazy,
I know
like,
what you're saying.
Like flared pants with like the sequin skirt and like the, you know, guitar bag.
Yes.
But then like how Ashley Tisdale would wear like on The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, that's like later seasons Rory. That's how I describe it.
Yeah. No, I think that's accurate. Yeah. I love when either of them wear like beanies, like when they wear hats, like their winter looks, like when they layer and have like these scarves and just
that rainbow scarf.
Yes, the rainbow scarves. Yes. I don't know.
I had it. I want it back.
Those jackets with like they're like corduroy with the fur on the inside.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Just saying. It's
love
Luke.
Those. I love Luke's looks.
Same. I know. I feel like I wear like a plaid shirt like that a lot.
You dress like Luke?
Yeah. I dress like Luke. Minus the hat. I don't wear a lot of backwards hats or hats at all. I hate hats.
Same.
They're just, I don't know. They're annoying. Beanies are okay though, but
I love Jess's motorcycle jacket.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
That's all she wrote for that one. I feel like they have like good style.
They have good style.
But it's really like relatable. It's almost too relatable to have any like moments where I'm like, oh my God, it's
a big moment. Yeah. I mean, other than like maybe it's some event, like a wedding or something, like I don't know, was it Sookie's wedding? Whose wedding was it where they were wearing blue? I think it was her wedding. Maybe.
Oh, wait. Well, or Richard and Emily's vow renewal. They're wearing blue.
I think I feel like they wear blue a lot too.
Anytime the Gilmore Girls are in blue, that's their color.
Yeah, that is their color.
I also like love seeing like the promos, like especially the photo shoots throughout the years.
The promos are really cute.
Yeah, like seeing them evolve is really fun.
It is. What do we think of Lorelai, or not Lorelai? Rory's like when she gets her hair
that's
cut.
true.
Yeah,
Lorelai.
It is Lorelai, but
it's actually like a moment
when she like cuts her hair kind of short. Yeah,
and I love it. I like think everyone should get into college and like cut their hair off.
Yeah,
it's very 1989.
Yeah,
Taylor Swift coded. I don't know. I love it. I'm like, Rory's ready to make some messy decisions.
Yes.
And do something that like she didn't consult her mom about.
Ooh, so dangerous.
For Rory, yes. And I like live for it.
Yeah. No, I thought that was cool. You have to cut your hair at one point and do something.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like she almost looks the best when she's at that point where she's growing out the shorter hair. It's very cute.
I thought so too.
Yeah, anything else?
No.
Okay.
I think I could go on and on, but
I know. I have a question.
yeah.
Was Rory a good journalist? Like, was Mitchum Huntsberger right?
Well, what did she really journalize?
She
What
did
she
write that review
cover?
where she fat shamed the ballerinas.
Oh yeah, I remember that. But
She did write that article about that like Napster
Even-
LimeWire kid 4 years after Napster
yeah,
disappeared.
yeah. Also, if Emily Gilmore's like, you're being too harsh, like I feel like that's like, you're like, oh, maybe we should reel it in.
Yeah, I think like Rory was probably a good writer. She might not have had that like, they talk about it in A Year in the Life though. I don't think she has that like bite or that drive or that.
Being a journalist has got to be different though than being a writer. Like being a
Yeah.
creative writer and being a journalist are probably, they probably have overlapping skills, I'm guessing, but it's a different kind of story. You got to think about how you want to paint the story, right? Especially if it's like a real story. Like
Definitely. I think definitely like Rory seems like a writer, but I don't know if she was like a good journalist. Like anything that we know.
also journalism, are you supposed to leave your opinion out of it for if you're a good journalist or something, right? For the most
Yes.
part, like you're supposed to report the facts and
Which you think Rory could do.
maybe
but-
the stories she was going after weren't even that really good either, because if it's just gossip or like a ballerina, like it's kind of like, where's her big story? I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking when she did that article on that dude that's like ripping songs off the internet, which is very like LimeWire or Napster, and like that would have been 2004 when that episode came out. So I don't know if ASP is really trying to say this, but what I interpreted from that is like Rory's behind the curve a little bit. That she's not like, as a journalist, you got to be kind of like 2 steps ahead, or you know, have that like whatever fire Paris has.
Yeah, Paris does have a like, it's almost like a scary fire.
Yeah.
Like when she runs for student body president, you're like, whoa. Like even though she kind of scares you, but you're also like, well, she's gonna get the job done. Like
And that's what you want to get the scoop.
yeah.
But Rory's a great, I think she's probably a great writer. And like, I think Mitchum Huntsberger saying she was a good assistant is like a really low blow, and that's harsh.
Yeah.
But there's probably definitely truth. I don't think she was like meant to be a journalist, but
Yeah.
I think that was like the expectations on her and the expectations on herself. Because even in The Year in the Life, she really couldn't let it go. And the only time she felt really freedom and like felt good was when she was like writing about her life and her mom. So,
Yeah.
you know, you can be a good writer, not a good journalist.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. I wish for Rory that she had seen more options in the moment. And I do feel like Mitch Huntsberger was still too harsh, but probably right in some ways. That, yeah, because journalism, that seems like a lot of work too. You're going out,
You're in the trenches.
you're in the trenches, you're covering real stories, like maybe like political things or just like events happening. Like this could be stressful. It sounds like a stressful kind of job, and
Yeah.
you're always trying to stay ahead of the curve. It's not like you're writing it. It's not like you're like J.K. Rowling and you're just like writing the next Harry Potter, which
Harry Potter.
I mean also probably was
That's true.
kind of a lot, but still, you know, like you can take your time when you're doing that. Like journalism is probably a lot faster moving.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you're in the newspaper too, like
Yeah, just more of an intense fire, which I don't know if Rory had, but that's not a bad thing. I think like watching that episode again, like yesterday,
yeah,
I think also Rory, when she tells her mom that she's dropping out of Yale, and Lorelai handles that situation so poorly and gets mad at her like she does,
yeah,
I think it does kind of set like a weird, I think Lorelai's in the wrong.
yeah. I feel like too initially, like with Harvard, like that being her only option for the longest time, like
And getting mad about it.
yeah, it's like she actually needed backup schools. Like that, all the kids have backup schools as a requirement. Like it's not guaranteed you're gonna get into the one school you want just because you've worked really hard. Like, even an Ivy League school, like, you should have backups. Like, it's interesting to me.
Like, Lorelai definitely does have this expectation of Rory, and then when she doesn't, Lorelai shuts her down and shuts down.
Yeah.
And, like, Rory's not making good decisions, but it's like Lorelai, like, doesn't see beyond herself enough.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot of her own issues too, because she didn't get to do a lot of these things. So
she's that Emily in her.
It's the Emily. Yeah, there is some Emily in Lorelai for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
definitely. Anything else? Ooh, do you have any favorite pop culture references?
I do remember there's like this one episode. I think it's when she comes back. No, maybe it's before she leaves for college. Like when they talk about like watching The Godfather on repeat. I thought that was kind of cute. There's so many. Man, I should have wrote them down. I'm trying to think.
No worries.
Do you have any? Or?
My favorite one is Jess. He says, "Nice spin. You should work for Bush." That's always my favorite.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of snarky, but I like it. Yeah.
I'm Team Jess.
Just
Jess. For the record.
Yeah.
I root for Jess more than anyone. Well, anything else? I guess before we sign off, can we talk a little bit about the legacy of Gilmore Girls?
Yes.
Because this is a show that every single fall, everyone's like, it's Gilmore Girls season. Gotta,
It's left its mark for sure.
Yeah, I feel like every year, like this is a show too where you can pop it on with your family, or like my fiance likes the show. Like everyone loves the show. In 2016, Amy Plitt of Rolling Stone reflected on the enduring appeal of Gilmore Girls and noted that it stood out from other family shows like Seventh Heaven, The OC, and Everwood by being far richer, deeper. The characters were funny and relatable. The banter was zinger heavy. The familial drama was poignant, and the romantic chemistry was off the charts.
It was basically everything we said.
Yes. Well, do you have any thoughts on why this show's really endured? And like, I feel like every year just gains more and more of a cult following.
I mean, I think it is like the show is very well written. I think it's just so cozy. There's something like the tone of the show is very cozy. I was thinking about this, like there's a lot of like warm, like literally there's warm colors like in the lighting and stuff. Like this town of Stars Hollow is kind of a town that you'd like to visit. You'd like to live in because it seems like a really sweet town. And even though like the characters know everything that goes on, like word travels fast, everyone's in each other's business, it still seems like a town where everyone cares about each other.
Such colorful characters, if I interject. Like we didn't really talk about the characters of Stars Hollow.
Oh yeah, like Miss Patty, Babette.
But they have like, is it Liz Torres and what's her name? I forget the actress's name, but she's in That's So Raven, the one who plays Gypsy. Mm-hmm. They're just fabulous character actors.
They are.
Who, have been in so many other things, but they're just so good, and they really add so much to the show and to like the town.
Even Jackson, like he's like the fruit man or whatever, but he's so funny. Like the produce man.
Yes.
Like the way he gets all upset about his produce is hilarious.
Like so intense about the town.
Michelle, love Michelle.
He's great.
Him and Lorelai are just so funny.
Yes. I love their banter.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard not to like it's hard to find something wrong with the show other than maybe the 7th season. But
I mean, does that one really count? That's not the Palladinos. It's not the way.
No, it's not the way. I just think it's perfect. I like how they use music, like, in the show, and then the little transitions. Like, I just think it's so special. It's its own little thing, and it
is like you're in like your own little bubble.
Yeah.
And like even the references span from like, they take a lot of like Katharine Hepburn, Spencer Tracy, like 1930s screwball comedy references and that style, and then do stuff from then all the way to like 2000 whatever, when the like real time when the show's taking place. Like I think there's just so much to like go off of, and you can always just be in that bubble. Like there's so many references and so many like little things, and
you go through the seasons and stuff too with the characters. It's fun. I don't know, it's fun seeing Rory kind of grow up. And Lorelai kind of grows up in some ways.
I love seeing that. She does.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like a slice of life, and just, I feel like it's in a sweet spot of like things happening, like in Rory's life, Lorelai's life.
Yeah. I love the drama, and then I love the idea that they can just like, I don't know, Lorelai and Rory can sit down and eat pizza and watch Showgirls.
Yeah, they go home. They're like, well, there's some drama. We're just gonna veg out, and I don't know. I feel like that's relatable too. Like, so their diet of like junk food and coffee, I'm like, ooh, that is me. That, like, yes.
Oh man, I could go for a Pop-Tart right about now.
Ooh.
I know it's a hot take, but I really do enjoy the brown sugar ones.
I love the brown. I don't think that's a hot take. I feel like that's one of the best flavors.
It's one of the best.
Yeah.
Wonder what the Lorelais would have to say about that.
I do wonder, yeah.
Away with the poodles already.
Away with the poodles already. Thanks so much for listening. Rate and review us on Apple, Spotify,
wherever you podcast.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye.